I'll get, Cheryl has to do our meeting. Oh, here she is. We meet every other week. I was going to say 21.
You're 21.
And we're getting rid of the 48 hours, otherwise it's
We didn't, I think we took them at. Okay, yeah, all right, we'll contact them again. Okay, yeah.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, I'll do that, thank you.
Yeah, so then you can just,
You know what I'm saying? You're a horse trader.
Okay.
Nice guy.
Want,
He's a nice guy.
Artie,
He's just old.
or CD?
We're gonna be there one day.
Did you,
Does it matter what pen I use, Cheryl?
Nope. That's my six.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be every other year. Every year.
Every year, yeah.
Thank you.
Got a copy of the agenda, Cheryl? I do. Extra one? I can't find mine. I know it was here. Okay. Thank you. I'll give it back if I can find it. You always have an extra one, I know.
You better, because I'm gonna start doing it.
Hey, there was no meeting over there. And there was like 20 people over at the Elks place. And they postponed it till the 8th of December at Salem State Enterprise Center. The attorney couldn't come, or the developer. Yeah, the developer was, the people that built the Elks. Scott Grove is their lawyer.
I know him very well.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
I might pick up the phone and call him myself.
Scott Grover was.
I know Scott. What are you looking for?
I know, I don't know.
I only have one, two.
I think after the Pledge of Allegiance, going to recognize Councilor Ryan to go take out of order Mayor's informational page, and then we're going to go to this one. Yeah, not that one, this one.
Right, this one.
Then I call, recognize him again, and then we go. Okay? And I think it's just. So just so you know, we'll be. I have to break him in.
Yeah. But I did notice that.
I have to break him in.
Well, you had to. Okay, endorsed him. To step back and look like, Baker
A regular meeting of the City Council was held in council chambers on Thursday, November 18, 2010 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on November 12, 2010 at 9:11 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. All councils are present. Council McCarthy is presiding. Council Sosnowski moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? I now ask that we please rise and join Council Pelletier with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilor Ryan.
Move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Ryan moves for a suspension of the rules.
To
move to the mayor's informational page out of order.
Out of order. Any objection? Seeing none?
Suspension of the rules, let's do that again.
Received after the deadline.
Received after the deadline of Tuesday noon.
Cheryl, do we need to read that?
Okay. Communication from the mayor requesting an opportunity to discuss the likely close of the Salem Harbor plant in the next 5 years and bond authorizations for the Saltonstall School and Collins Middle School.
On Councilor Ryan's request that the mayor be allowed to address the council. Any objection? Seeing none? Mayor Driscoll.
Thank you. Thank you, council, for the opportunity to just talk briefly about two, I think, important matters before you this evening, or certainly things we'll be wrestling with for quite some time. The first item I just wanted to touch base with was obviously today's headline in the Salem News relative to the power plant. I think the news from a chief official at Dominion that they are looking to cease investments in the plant and sort of a sunset around a 5-year time period relative to the plant, while very concerning to us and certainly very serious. I'm not sure we could say we're completely shocked. It's certainly the livelihood of the plant and the lifespan of the plant is something that we've spent time talking about as a group at a number of our retreat sessions, and it's certainly been a concern and remains a concern going forward. I think if there is a silver lining, I don't think there is a silver lining, but I think if there's something we can look forward to, it is the work of the study that will be getting underway shortly. Many of you are familiar with the fact that we did receive a state grant of $200,000 to help us look at the current conditions at the plant, understand what the energy needs are in Salem and the region, and try and get a better handle on potential reuse options should they become necessary. The stark headline in the news today obviously makes that, should they become necessary, a little bit more real. We were always dealing with it in the past as a hypothetical. It certainly seems as though it's something that I think we're fortunate to have the study underway, and it's something we're going to be wrestling with going forward. It's really a short-term and a long-term issue for us. I think in the short term, we have a tax agreement for $4.75 million that expires at the end of this fiscal year. We need to negotiate a new tax agreement. Obviously, it's not the best environment to do that when you're looking at some of the issues that we seem to be staring down the barrel at. The longer-term issue, and by long, is it 5, is it 7, is it 2 years, is really what's going to happen at that facility going forward. And that's where the study certainly can inform us of some of the options and I think help us through the transition. I've given the analogy that we're a little bit like being in the back seat of a car that's moving that we don't control. I'm hoping when the study's completed, we'll at least move up to the passenger side, armed with information, and be able, hopefully, to assist with the transition of whatever happens there. I do think it's fair to say that it'll be very difficult to find another use there that's going to generate $4.75 million in revenue to the city. And I think that, for us, is the most important thing to keep in mind. Going forward, it's going to be the revenues there are going to be very challenging to make those numbers work. And again, not something that we haven't been aware of. We've had an attitude of hoping for the best but planning for the worst. And this is certainly going to be brought to bear as we move forward. So we've fielded a lot of inquiries. You're probably hearing from folks about it as well. We do have Jacobs is the engineering firm we're working with on the reuse study. LeCapra Associates is their engineering consultant. We're working to put together a more specific scope and a time frame, and certainly we'll be coming in here to have a more formal dialogue so you can be armed with the same information that we're getting as things progress. We've had much more dialogue with Councilor McCarthy, or in-depth dialogue as the ward councilor in that area about that study and what it will entail. But I do think it will be helpful information going forward. So I just wanted to at least connect on that, and if there are any questions, concerns, issues, things that folks have on their mind on that issue, happy to talk about those now.
Any questions of the mayor at this point? Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the question I would ask is, in the paper that I read today, it referred to a spot where there would be a possibility, through you to the mayor, please, that another purchaser of the plant could come along. Could that purchaser be the city of Salem? And the reason why I say that is because we've heard that the conversion cost going from coal to gas is something in the neighborhood of $200 million, ballpark. All right, and I'm thinking that, okay, I'm trying to crunch the numbers in my mind. I've heard it said from fellow associates here that the company makes a decent profit, something in the order of $40 million profit per year, minimum. If we were to take half of that and apply it towards amortizing that upgrade, part of that towards amortizing the initial loan in the first place, we could actually come out of this a winner. And maybe we would have 185 jobs that we would protect, 185 homes that wouldn't be coming on the market because they couldn't pay their mortgages. We have a whole bunch of positive stuff here, and I'd like that study to include that as well, because I'm thinking that right now we get 4.75 with a $250,000 voluntary piece on top of that, which is nice.
No, 4.75 million is the total,
Okay,
right?
All right. So I'm thinking, okay, after we pay off the city's bond on bond purchasing, something like this, we could be realizing $20–30 million into the coffers. Instead of worrying about how we're going to pay police, fire, schools, and all that, we could be ahead of the game for a change, instead of always staring down the barrel, as you say, and that's where we are right now, exactly. All right? And I'd like that option to be looked at, because I think that there's some viability there, possibly. You know, just let's see if it becomes real or not. Okay, thank you.
Councilor O'Keefe, then Councilor
Through you, Mr. President.
Pinto.
Thank you. Question of the mayor. We've been meeting with National Grid, sponsorship of Councilor McCarty, about power ducts and what have you that were going to come from the power station and come down Derby Street and go
The trunk
over to-
line project, right?
What happens to all of these plans that National Grid has to put all these cables in, and if they're going to shut the station?
I don't think there's any connection between the National Grid project and the power generation at Salem Harbor. So I do not believe there'd be any changes or amendments that would be required. I think there's an advantage to the site that they are located in such close proximity to the
It appears
grid.
to me then the wires are still going to come reverse. The electricity, instead of going out of Salem, is going to come into Salem, and it's going to go to that transfer station and go everywhere else. It's going to come to Salem instead of going out of Salem.
Well, the National Grid project is an upgrade of existing lines that are here, existing transmission lines. This is a power generation facility. They happen to be located in close proximity to each other, but I don't think it really has an impact. I think it's an asset for this site that they are located in such close proximity, but I don't think it'll impact the National Grid project, Councilor.
But it appears that forever, if the plant leaves, there's still going to be electricity, transformers, towers, and everything else down there.
Those are not owned by Salem
Not owned
Harbor.
by
That's correct.
Dominion, they're,
That's correct.
okay.
National Grid.
It's
That's
not
right.
going away.
Those are part of the transmission system, not part of the power generation. That's
Thank you, ma'am.
correct.
Councilor Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Honor, in the paper today, it said 5 years, that they were going to be leaving in 5 years. In the event that it's shorter or longer, when we go to renegotiate, I want to say, I don't want to show a hand, but do you anticipate shorter, longer? What's your thinking?
You know, this is a really complex industry, deregulation, environmental regs, what's going to happen at the national level in terms of policy. So there are still, I think, many things that will be brought to bear that will have an impact on, is it 5, is it 2, is it 7, is it 10? So I really wouldn't want to wager a guess. One of the reasons we are so pleased with the fact that we're going through with the study is we're not going to be guessing. We're hiring experts. There are experts. It's not being driven by a team of environmentalists. It's not being driven by a team of energy industry specialists. It's being driven by the city and give us a straight look at what is the feasibility long-term of that plant operating, what are the hurdles, and if it doesn't operate long-term, I mean, everything has a lifespan. What are the transition opportunities? What are the reuse options that might exist? And what are the hurdles to that? And how can we better prepare ourselves to manage that through that process?
You still have the floor.
Do we have any time frame on how long this study is going
Yeah.
to take?
We're anticipating that we'll be able to take a real drill down fairly quickly on some of the issues that are most important to us, but it's probably going to be about 6 months till it's finally completed. And we always push the envelope with the timeline, so it might drag in a little bit beyond that. But we're going to try and really hit it hard and hopefully have information sooner than June that can be very useful as we enter into tax negotiations. But this is a really tough climate to go into a tax negotiation with. And look, we talked about this. We've got $600,000 we put in a stabilization account. I say we, I mean all 12 of us, recognizing that We have a tax agreement that's expiring. We've got local aid that's not going to be recovering in fiscal year 12. We're not going to have stimulus dollars. We're doing our best to prepare for the future should there be, a reduction in revenues in any of those sources. There's a lot of question marks here, and we're going to try and do our best to arm ourselves with information to knock some of those down.
Thank you. All set, Mr.
Council Lovely, then Council Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mayor, just with regard to the feasibility study, just a little more information, if you know, because Councilor O'Keefe brought up a good point. A lot of people don't know that there's a power generating station and then there's a grid next to it. They think it's all in one. I was contacted a few times today.
SESD, everything, wrapped them all into one, right?
Right, because some people in Salem, would like to see that coal burning plant go away, and they said, gee, great opportunity to put a cruise ship terminal, a hotel, and shops and homes. And I said, well, wait a minute, the grid will be there. Well, what do you mean? What is, I don't understand. I said, well, that they're two separate properties. With regard to and actually, I think there's a lot of misinformation about that, because HealthLink, over the summer at least, and probably before, every single week in the Gazette was a full-page, beautiful color ad of what could be there with wind turbines and hotel and shops and the pier and everything. I didn't see any grid in that beautiful rendering.
Right.
So will this feasibility study not only tell us maybe the future of that plant, for how long, the transition, but maybe what can go there as well?
Absolutely. I mean, the idea is to look at the lifespan, determine the likely lifespan of the plant, understand whether this facility is needed for energy, meaning if it is, are there alternative energy potential options on that particular site? So looking at the necessity, and then identify and assess the existing conditions. There are wonderful amenities like a natural deep water port, a designated port area designation, and there are also some challenges, the grid, located in such close proximity, a really tight infrastructure. 300 condos, how are people going to get to and from? It's Derby Street is the main corridor. So all the more reason why we really worked closely with the state to pull these grant dollars together so we can get a realistic, what is buildable, what is feasible, what is marketable, what will fit within that site, look at reuse options. So I think all of that, I mean, this is, we've got $200,000. We are not going to shortchange our efforts to really understand what we have and what we could have, and try and influence where things go.
Thank you.
Council Pelletier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, through you. Your Honor, what's going to be the impact on the taxpayers? We're going to have some sort of realistic percentage on what the impact will be for the Salem ratepayers if we lose that $4.5 million?
Right. We certainly
get that information somewhat. I know we can't quantify it down to the nickel, but
that's right. I mean, there are certainly hypotheticals that you can put together based on current classifications and things of that magnitude. We know in the past what happened. The power plant not that long ago was paying over $9 million in tax revenue. I recall those days. What we saw happen is we, as a city, collected the same amount on the levy, but homeowners had to pick up the reduction in the revenues that the power plant was not paying. So it can have a significant impact, especially on residential ratepayers. And we can begin to quantify some of that. I don't want to throw out numbers without us taking a hard look at it. We haven't done it in a while. I know it was done several years ago, and it is not insignificant. In fact, it is very substantial. We have people struggling, already, and to think about throwing that burden on top of the normal cost of operations would be a severe hardship for many people.
You still have the floor, Council Pelletier.
thank you. I just want to answer my colleague across the aisle. Council Lovely was right, Councilor O'Keefe, because you got Dominion and National Grid, and those power lines, even though they're going to run new cables underground to Canal Street, that's all part of the grid. That's not going to go anywhere. They can't move it. All right? That power's coming from Canada. It's coming up from Brayton and the South Shore. It runs both directions. So that's going to be there forever. And Council Lovely's exactly right. When HealthLink come out with that, I got that on my wall. I drew in the stink from the sewer plant, and I drew the power lines in, and it looks pretty awful now when you put the power grid in. You have I don't know if you want a hotel next to the South Essex Sewer District.
Council Fury.
Yes, please. Madam Mayor, fellow councilors, I'm glad we're taking the high road in this. It's very important to take the high road on this and use this study as a vehicle of possibility and potential. Because if you look at the history of Salem, Salem's history is filled with strength and resilience and resourcefulness at critical turning points. We have changed from a fishing and farming town to a maritime center and later on an industrial center with a vibrant shoe industry, a souvenir plant, and park of others. Now we're a major tourist epicenter. We have survived a devastating Salem fire and a deadly influenza epidemic. Now we're facing the possibility of a change in an institution in the city of Salem of the power plant that we have all grown up with. We're a great city with a great history and a heritage of strength. And with Salem's spirit of resilience and resourcefulness, we will rebound and take this opportunity and be a greater city, I believe, in taking the high road, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President, I just wanted to take the opportunity to clarify for anyone at home that may be panicking because the city, seeing that the city might lose, all of this revenue. It's not something that's going to happen all at once, obviously. The article in today's paper really was quoting the CFO of Dominion saying that within the next 5 years this plant would be closing. They pay us $4.75 million today. Even if they close, they still owe us the property tax because they still own the property. What the latest red flag is the Dominion essentially tried to completely opt out of the New England power auction. They've tried to do the same thing over the last 2 years on a smaller scale each year. Now they're trying to opt out entirely. Now, what happens when they do that is one of two things. Either the ISO who conducts this says, no, you can't opt out because we need you. National Grid then says, we need that power for our grid, and then they are able to pass off their operating costs for this Dominion plant to the National Grid. I just want you to know because that includes the property taxes that they pay to the city of Salem. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're in a worse position when it comes to negotiating, our tax bill. If our tax bill is something that Dominion is able to pass off to the National Grid because it's a necessary operating cost, we're in no worse position, next year when this matter comes up than we are now. If they're able to opt out of this New England energy auction and they stay in business in the short term, they will actually make more money at Dominion than they would have had they set their rates pursuant to the auction. That's what you see in the paper. This one group thinks, well, maybe Dominion is playing a game here. They're trying to get out of setting their rate so they can actually charge the taxpayers more and make more profit in the short term. So again, in the short term, it may be that Dominion is making more money, in which case, again, when it comes time to negotiate, and there's no reason we really have to negotiate the tax rate. When we set the tax rate for Dominion, that we have to, be looking as if it's a doomsday situation. Under no circumstances are we going to lose $4.5 million in taxes overnight. So I want the people at home that are listening to this to understand that. Dominion is a very wealthy company. So the good thing is, if a company is going to shut down the power plant, the company we would like to see shut down the power plant would be Dominion, because Dominion has the money to pay the taxes for that property, whether they're running that power plant or not. So we're in a good situation in that the owner of the company, the owner of the land is actually a big company that can pay the city substantial taxes. So it isn't a doomsday situation. We will get by. Thank you, Mr. President.
Council Pelletier.
Just one quick question. Is the study going to study the contamination of the site also?
Yeah, they will do a site assessment and condition approval. I do want to remind folks that the structure of the current tax agreement is $3.5 million in taxes and 1.25 in a sort of a pilot sort of host fee payment. So the structure of the taxes is much less than the 4.75. And we'll have lots of time to talk about the strategy and for tax negotiations and where we see that going. And while I certainly agree with Councilor Ronan that it's not quite a dire doom and gloom picture, This is a tough negotiation that we're heading into, given all the hurdles that we face, and we'll be happy to, as we do, routinely come in to the council with our experts to demonstrate some of the challenges we have. Not taking a defeatist attitude. We've been able to reap increases in the tax agreement. The last tax agreement was up $250,000 more than we've gotten in the past. But I also don't want us to go in here fooled thinking that somehow Dominion's going to be making more money or we're going to be recovering more in tax revenues. This is going to be very difficult going forward.
Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank you for allowing me to speak twice.
I'm sorry.
Just briefly through you to the mayor, please. Your Honor, I seem to recall a long time ago when we were talking about financial impacts here. If this reluctance on Dominion's part to invest in pollution controls on the plant is due to state regulations that are being implied, wasn't there something that I don't know if it was Representative Keenan said it or not, but somebody said it that if a state action causes a municipality to lose revenues, that the state is therefore responsible for replacing those same revenues to some degree. All right, is that still an option on the table here?
Yeah. So two things. We actually worked with Representative Keenan and Senator Berry to get legislation that said the time RGGI was a concern that environmental regulation was going to cost so much that the plant may not be able to operate, or it was going to, sort of dig into their revenues so much that they wouldn't be able to operate profitably. And we passed legislation. We were successful in getting legislation passed that said if through a 3-year period of time, which was a RGGI implementation schedule, the city received less in revenues, then it would be made up with RGGI dollars. That expires at the end of this fiscal year. So, we'll look at some options around that as well. But I also want to correct, I think I said 3.5 and 125. It's $3 million in taxes and 1.75 in host fee, just so we have the breakout right on the taxes versus the host fee payment, because that is that's critical as part of the negotiations. Anything else on this?
Further questions on this specific topic? Seeing none?
Just briefly on the other item that we have before you, that is a late file. It is the appropriation order for the Saltonstall School and the Collins School. Technically, I believe the council can adopt this for first passage and refer it to committee, but cannot deliberate on it under the Sunshine Ordinance, the exemption around late files. So I just want to certainly put a plea in to ask for the council's assistance in getting us to first passage. We have 2 schools that leak like sieves, for lack of a better term. Council's aware of it. We've been working with the Green Repair Program. We are set to receive a 78% reimbursement for the state for anything we expend, but we do have to approve things moving forward, and we're on a tight timeline with MSBA under this Green Repair Program, so I am hopeful the council will give consideration to adopting this evening for first passage. We'll refer it to committee where we can bring in the architects, the engineers that we're working with, go through the scope of the project, what those estimated costs are, with the idea of getting a final approval at your December meeting so they can actually begin the work, and we can see some repairs started in 2011, which is the requirement of the MSBA. The time pressure is really coming from them, and frankly, it's a good thing because the buildings are in rough shape. We're paying $25,000 a year to rent scaffolding around Collins Middle School because of leaks and parapet walls. And if you've been to the Saltonstall School or behind it, you've seen the black tarps, and we still have water that routinely leaks in the library when we've got wind and rain. So the situation's getting worse, not better, and we're hopeful that we can advance the project with your help this evening. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Councilor Ryan?
I move that we go back to the regular agenda.
Any objections? Seeing none, Councilor Ryan moves that we go back to the regular portion of the meeting. Hearings? None. Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Kathleen McMahon to serve as the City of Salem's treasurer with a term to expire January 31st, 2013.
Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment and reappointment of the following to serve as constables with following terms to expire. Mark Snyder, term to expire November 8th, 2013. Peter Yazzie, term to expire October 26, 2011. Douglas Perry, term to expire October 26, 2011. George Safron, term to expire November 7th, 2013.
Councilor Lovely.
Move they be received and placed on file.
On Counselor Lovely's recommendation that these matters be moved and received and placed on file, all those in favor, all those opposed? Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $934,070 from receipts reserved for appropriations to the following: to reduce the gross amount to be raised by taxation when fiscal year 2011 tax rate is set. Receipts reserve Witch House, $178,757. Receipts reserve golf course, $539,276. Receipts reserve Harbor Master, $216,037.
Counsel Prevey.
Mr. President, I move for suspension of the rules.
Counsel Prevey moves suspension of rules. All those in favor, all those opposed? Counsel Prevey.
Mr. President, I move that this matter be referred to Committee on Administration and Finance.
Any discussion?
The intention is obviously to have a committee meeting on this matter and have it out by the next council meeting in December.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counsel Prevey's recommendation that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. All those in favor, all those opposed? Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to implement a parking ticket amnesty program to waive late fees from December 1st to the 25th, 2010.
Counsel Prevey.
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Under discussion?
Under discussion, we have done this before in terms of having an amnesty program where, folks can come in, obviously, and bring in canned goods with the holidays coming up and have the fees that have been added on to the original ticket waived. Obviously, it clears up these tickets as well, so there's a double purpose that's accomplished here. It's been successful in the past when we have approved it and gone forward, and because of the success in the past, we asked, the mayor obviously submitted this to us and asked that we approve this as well, and I think it's a great idea, just given the history of it.
Thank you, Counsel. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counsel Prevey's recommendation, this order be approved. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 32B, Section 20, to establish an other post-employment benefits liability trust fund.
Counsel Prevey or Counsel Lovely? Counsel Prevey, you've won.
Thank you.
Counsel Prevey.
Myself and Councilor Lovely should have done rock, paper, scissors on this one. I move this matter be referred to Committee on Administration and Finance because of the nature of it, that it be co-posted with Committee of the Whole.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counsel Prevey's recommendation that this matter be sent to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 31, Section 108P, to allow the city to compensate Salem's collector and treasurer for additional training.
Counsel Prevey.
Mr. President, I move this matter be referred to Committee on Administration and Finance.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none?
I'll accept the friendly amendment from Councilor Sosnowski that it be co-posted.
Thank you. On Counsel Prevey's recommendation with the friendly amendment that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Mayor's informational page.
Received after the deadline of Tuesday noon, a bond order appropriating $687,062 for a feasibility study in support of repairs to the Collins Middle School at 29 Highland Avenue, Salem.
Counsel Prevey.
Mr. President, I move for suspension of the rules to accept the late file.
On Counsel Prevey's motion to suspend the rules to accept the late file, all those in favor, all those opposed? Counsel Prevey.
Mr. President, I further move for suspension of the rules.
Counsel Prevey moves to suspend the rules.
And I move that this matter be referred to Committee on... Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies, Mr. President. I move that this matter be adopted for first passage by roll call vote and then referred to Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with Committee of the Whole.
On Counsel Prevey's recommendation, this matter be adopted for first passage, which will be taken a roll call vote, and then referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted. All those in favor? All those opposed? We'll now call the roll.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yes.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Sisnowski?
Yes.
And Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. Thank you. On the first passage of bond order for $687,062 and referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted, 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter passes and sent to committee. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a bond order appropriating $312,000 for a feasibility study in support of repairs to the Salt and Stall School located at 211 Lafayette Street, Salem.
Council Privy.
Mr. President, I move for suspension of the rules.
Council Privy's motion for suspension of rules. All those in favor, all those opposed. Council Privy.
Mr. President, I move for adoption for first passage by roll call vote, and that the matter be referred to Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with Committee of the Whole.
On Council Privy's recommendation that this matter be sent to Committee of Administration and Finance, co-posted after a roll call vote. All those in favor, all those opposed. Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yes.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Sisnowski?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of a bond order for the Salt and Stall School for first passage sent to committee in the amount of $312,000. We have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter passes for first passage and is sent to committee. Madam City Clerk, if you could go back to page 5 at the top, we missed one with regard to the water meters.
We're not there
We
yet.
didn't get there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had that page as inserted, I'm sorry.
Water meter?
Yep, that's next. Thank you, sorry. Mayor's informational page.
We have a communication from the mayor requesting an opportunity to discuss the city's water meter replacement program with the city council.
Councilor Pelletier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd refer this to Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Under discussion?
Yeah, briefly, if I can find the notes again. We're probably going to have a quick meeting, or not a quick meeting, but a tape meeting, hopefully the first couple weeks in December. We'll schedule it at that time, have SATV, so we can tell the folks at home exactly what this program's all about and how it's going to work. But we need to get the, not only the engineers, our engineer, but the engineers from a couple of the companies here. I missed my notes. Anyway, there will be a meeting scheduled as soon as possible, and as soon as we get all the engineers together and can make a night. All right? Co-posed with the Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
Councilor, any further discussion? Seeing none, Councilor Pelletier's recommendation that this matter be sent to the Committee on Community and Economic Development, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Government Services? I'm sorry, Government Services?
Government Services.
Thank you. On this, that this matter be sent to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All's in favor? All's opposed? Cheryl, I apologize for that. I substituted those other two after this page, so I thought we skipped it. Thank you. Motions, orders, and resolutions. On the right page? Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2010, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50A, handicap zones. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Lafayette Street, Meyer Hall, beginning 61 feet from the driveway for a distance of 60 feet in an easterly direction, 3 spaces, handicap parking zone. Section 2 of this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. And I move that this be passed first passage tonight and then referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs for their review and recommendation? No, we can just pass it tonight. This remarks, Mr. President?
Under discussion.
The Salem State University contacted me 2 weeks ago about this matter, and there has been an increased number of handicapped students who are attending and have classes in Meyer Hall and in that end of the central campus, the north part of the campus, and they respectfully request that they have 3 additional spaces in front of Meyer Hall, which is where the old bookstore used to be. It's across from Naples Road, and there'll be 3 additional spaces. There's a bus stop there now. There will be 3 additional 20-foot spaces beyond that for handicapped students. And respectfully request the council adopt that first passage.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, and Councilor O'Keefe's
Ordinance.
motion that this ordinance relative to traffic be adopted for first passage. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Thank you.
Councilor Sosnowski. Further motions, order resolutions. Councilor Sosnowski.
Trying to get the right one here, Mr. President. City of Salem in the year 2010, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicapped zones, limited time. Be it ordained by the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Howard Street in front of number 50 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion?
Basically, it's the standard policy we have when a resident requires a handicap spot. And there's not very much discussion needed to explain that. Thank you, Mr. President.
On Councilor Sosnowski's order relative to traffic, that this matter be adopted for first passage. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. On an ordinance to traffic, let me get this one here. In the year 2010, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zone, limited time, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Essex Street in front of number 54 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion.
Yeah, just move for adoption for first passage.
Any further discussion?
Same basic reason for everything else.
Councilor Sosnowski's order relative to an ordinance change with regard to handicap parking moves for first passage. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President. Ordered that the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss giving Dion's Boatyard a special seasonal right to use Forest Street for transportation of boats. The fall season would be from September 15th through November 15th, and the spring season would be from May 15th through July 15th.
Under discussion.
I've spoken with Lieutenant Przewski about this matter. Dion's Boatyard is right in the middle of my ward. They're right in the middle of a residential neighborhood, and they have the problem that they have to transport boats to and from their boatyard. They have another facility on Canal Street. The problem is to get boats from Canal Street to their location on the water, they have to go between Lafayette Street and Canal Street. Right now, all of those streets are, or most of those streets are no trucks allowed. So the route that they're actually going now is really circuitous. They're going all the way into Riley Plaza and then down Canal Street. Canal Street is an enormous problem trailering boats because of the culvert in front of McDonald's. The big boats on the berth are actually leaning dangerously as they go by McDonald's. The only other way to do it is to go all the way up to the intersection of Loring and Canal Street, and that's a hairpin turn you can't make with a boat. So if you try to make it down the one street that you can go down now, which is Laurel Street, there's a very steep hill behind Crosby's that, again, is dangerous to transport boats. So Lieutenant Przewski and I looked at all the streets, that made the most sense about, transporting boats between Dion's Boatyard on the water and their facility on Canal Street. Forest makes the most sense. It's the flattest, it's the best view, and it avoids the area in front of the McDonald's where the road is bad. So Lieutenant Prozuski is in support of this. I just ask that it be vetted by the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, hopefully returned with a recommendation that we approve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel. Counsel Lovely.
Mr. Chairman, it's not that I don't think it should go to Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, but I do think it should go to Government Services. I think that's probably the better committee for this, and that would be a friendly amendment. Thank you.
I'm looking to the Chair of Government Service. Listen, it's been an easy year for you so far. Might as well load you up at the end.
Would it require an ordinance change? That would be my question.
I don't think so.
No, it's
Just
Mr.
permission from
President,
the council.
just to respond, I'm looking for just really an order that would allow Dion's Boatyard to have a seasonal right to use that street. So I don't care which committee it goes to.
I'll take it, and we'll do it beginning of December.
I'll send it to Government Services.
I'm glad we're all getting along.
Just make sure there's no low-hanging wires. And then check with the former ward five council, he lives on that street.
On Councilor Ronan's order that this matter be sent to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All's in favor? All's opposed? Councilor Ronan.
Mr. President, proposed order that the Committee on Administration and Finance meet to discuss the possibility of providing tax relief for residential taxpayers who hereinafter convert a multifamily structure back to its original as-built status.
Under discussion.
Discussion.
Interesting.
We have really, as a council, provided a lot of tax relief to businesses that come in to the city of Salem and develop their properties in a way that really is beneficial to the city. We get out of that, obviously increased tax revenue, and, they get a little bit of tax relief. There's no real incentive in Salem on the residential side to convert what really was a single-family house now being used as a multifamily, 3, 4, 5 family house, to ever go back to a single-family residence. In my ward in particular, most of the houses now were either built as single-family houses or two-family houses, and they're now being used as multifamily houses. On one street right now, there are 5 foreclosed properties. Somebody's going to pick up those properties and develop them. It seems to me that it would make sense to the city to give an incentive to whoever it is that picks up those houses to develop them in such a way that would make the most sense to the city of Salem. And when I say this, I mean it in every aspect. If you go over to Lynn and you take a look at their properties over there, they have some beautiful Victorian structures that are all divided up. They're all apartments now. The problem with Salem is we don't do enough really to preserve our housing stock. There's no incentive to go, from a multifamily back to a single family or back, to an original two-family house. What I'm suggesting is we look at the possibility of giving some tax relief to do just that. And I think that it makes great sense. You look at all the TIFs, we've given TIFs to Lowe's, U.S. Biological, Groom Construction, Doyle, Salem Glass, Pickering Wharf. There's a whole list of them. Bigger TIFs than I'm talking about. The average tax bill in Salem is a little bit less than $5,000. So if you gave somebody relief on their tax bill for the next year after their development, you're talking about a small amount of money. And I think what you'd find is, and I asked Rich Viscay to give me some numbers on, for instance, the average cost to educate a student in Salem. Right now, it's just under $15,000. So if you take a structure that was being used, say in my ward, in Ward 5, as a multi-family house, and you figure there's one child in each unit, and you go back to a single-family house, the savings to the city is enormous. Just on the school side, it's about $15,000, as I said, per student. And that doesn't take into consideration the savings that the city would realize when it comes to, the taxes. The trash, or the water and sewer, and all those other assessments that we have. So it is a benefit to the city to go back to the original uses, and I'm just suggesting that this matter go to the administration and finance so that we can call people in and determine exactly how much a benefit that would be to the city, and whether or not we can feasibly give people that, on the residential side, somewhat of a tax break. The same sort of a deal that we're giving on the commercial side. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Oh, that goes to committee, Council. It goes to committee. We're not going to discuss that until it's in the committee. Obviously, if you'd love to go to committee and weigh in on that option, you are more than welcome to. I'm sure that they would love to have you. On Councilor Ronan's recommendation that this matter be sent to the Committee on A&F, is that co-posted, sir?
Co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City Salem City Council, November 18, 2010, ordered that the enclosed tag day application be granted. Salem High School hockey boosters, November 27, 2010, and December 18, 2010, from 8 to noon.
Under discussion?
And it has the approval of the police department. This was just, it wasn't timely. We weren't going to be able to turn this around, and it's because it's the weekend after Thanksgiving. So, move for approval. Thank you.
On Council Lovely's recommendation that these tag days be approved, all is in favor? All is opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions? Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, November 18, 2010, ordered that the year-to-date budget report dated October 31st, 2010, be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Any discussion?
No discussion.
Seeing none, on Council Privey's recommendation that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, all is in favor? All is opposed? Council Prevey, you done?
All set, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, November 18, 2010, ordered that the Committee on Community and Economic Development meet to discuss the possible expansion of the dog park located at Leslie's Retreat Park, and the following be invited: the mayor or her representative, the Park and Rec Commission, Doug Boland, the Park Recreation and Community Service Director, and the city solicitor.
No discussion.
Very briefly, I want to send this to committee so we can talk about it. Basically, there's been some negative interaction between large dogs and small dogs, so they just want to put a small little addition to what's there so small dogs can be there without fear of being eaten by the big dogs. And we'll talk about that when it gets there, and we'll see what happens. I was approached by one of the original founding members of the dog park.
On Council Sosnowski's recommendation, this matter be referred to the Committee on Economic Development. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further motions, orders, resolutions? Seeing none. Committee reports. Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, November 18, 2010. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of Order Number 258, Memorial for World War II veteran Phileas Verrett on city-owned property at the corner of Mason and Friend Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that the application be amended for the site to be at Mack Park opposite Flint Street, and that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance report, all is in favor? All is opposed? Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Sosnowski, did you bring this? Councilor Prevey brought this in. Councilor Prevey, would you like? We actually met in committee on this. It was a very good meeting, and I'd be happy to. Councilor Sosnowski, I think, is the liaison to the Veterans Council, and Councilor Prevey, if you would like to speak on this.
Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor Lovely. Yes, we had a good committee meeting. We had members of the Veterans Council that were here, as well as in addition to members of the Mack Park Neighborhood Association, who are trying to provide as much support and assistance in moving this thing forward. I was just informed by President of Mack Park Neighborhood Association, Rosemary O'Connor, who's in chambers tonight, that an account has been set up so we can start receiving donations. So our thanks to Richie Brennan, who took on that task. I know some donations have come in, and now we actually have an account that we can place them in, so we can begin actually the process of trying to determine what the memorial will actually look like, and then start getting cost assessments and things like that, see about other donations, about perhaps materials that can be donated. And I know some people have come forward already and expressed an interest to donate materials as well as their own time in making this happen. So I think it's a much better site that was chosen just because now it's on the park. I think that there's going to be greater diligence demonstrated both by the neighbors as well as the park department in terms of the keep up of the memorial, because what we don't want to see happen is a memorial established and honoring this great veteran, and all of a sudden it just over the years just become overgrown and not taken care of. So we continue to move it forward. It's obviously a process, but we have a lot of people that are willing to provide support, and I appreciate the work that's been done so far by everyone involved, and I certainly look forward to further discussions with Councillor Lovely and the committee. So I guess we'll keep that there and keep it moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Councilor Lovely's recommendation, this matter stay in committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, November 18, 2010. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of Order Number 368, Unregistered Vehicle Ordinance, has considered said matter and recommend that a request be sent to the city solicitor to form a subcommittee consisting of the solicitor, a representative from the police department and fire department, the building inspector, and a counselor from this body to examine how other municipalities deal with unregistered vehicles, particularly in residential neighborhoods, and to discuss the 21D ticket program and how that's implemented with this as well.
On acceptance report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This, too, was an order that Councilor Prevey introduced. There was an issue in his ward, I think it's still an existing issue in his ward, regarding unregistered vehicles and how our ordinance doesn't give enough, there's not enough bite behind it to actually kind of move some of these unregistered vehicles on. And I'd be happy to have Councilor Prevey discuss this further.
Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had in the chambers that evening when we had the meeting on the matter in committee, Lieutenant Griffin from the fire department, as well as Tom St. Pierre, the building inspector. And we looked at the different roles that the fire, the police, and the building inspector play, and it seemed that what has happened from a practical standpoint is that the building inspector really has been the one that has tried to address these violations, ticketing people, taking them to court over these violations, and the police and fire have kind of tried to figure out what their role is. I know Lieutenant Griffin indicated there have been in some instances where she has stepped in, and because of fire hazards under the CRM code for Massachusetts, she was able to get people to remove vehicles off their property because of certain violations. But large in part, the building inspector has been the one that has been providing enforcement, and yet he's the one that is largely absent in terms of the reference to his duties within the current ordinance. So we're hoping that under the 21D program that we can certainly strengthen that particular ordinance, but also we talked about a broader scope of looking at some of the other ordinances where there's enforcement and making sure that we're consistent about how the enforcement is done through the 21D ticket program, because that seemed to be the recommendation of Mr. St. Pierre, that there seems to be an absence or some holes that exist within that. So in terms of trying to provide some consistency, the subcommittee is going to take a look at that, see where those holes can kind of be plugged, and that there's a little more continuity that exists across the board with all of our zoning violations that have to do with violations of whether it's vehicles or other things which the 21D program applies. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to tighten that up, and as Councilor Lovely referenced, provide a little more bite to it and make it so that we can actually provide some real enforcement and not just some of these long drawn-out things which eventually wind up in court, and a lot of times they fail even after they go to court. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Council. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Council, is the subcommittee that's being formed going to report back to your committee?
It will, yes.
Councilor Lovely's recommendation that the subcommittee take up this matter and report back to the Committee on License, Order, Legal Affairs, co-posted Committee of the Whole with their recommendation. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, November 18, 2010. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of Order Number 274 and 275, outdoor seating for Jaho Coffee, has considered the matter, would recommend that the application be withdrawn for this year without prejudice, and that Councilor Sosnowski be the contact person with the Commission on Disabilities with the owner of Jaho Coffee to submit written recommendation with next year's application.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This was an application that was submitted back in, actually submitted it back in, I think, May, but our applications require at least some type of written, like a map of where outdoor seating would be. It came back a few weeks later, and we weren't able to take it up before we recessed for the summer. We were able to have the gentleman come in. He was actually invited to another meeting, or wasn't invited to the meeting. Anyway, we had him come in. We had a very, very good discussion about, you know, what he was doing with his seating down on Derby Street in front of his business and on the other side of his business. And we told him what we expect for next year when he resubmits the application, and that we also, Councilor Sosnowski graciously volunteered to follow this with him and work with the Commission on Disabilities to make sure that these the seating is in the correct places. We want to make sure that there's enough seating. I think the building inspector said it needs a 48 inches from a table or chair to an impediment, which would be a tree well or a tree or a fire hydrant or something. We've had a couple of residents or tourists, I'm not sure, fall because it was just too close, and especially the Commission on Disabilities, if someone is sight impaired, they need to be able to actually use the building as they go by, kind of as a guide, and that wasn't happening. So it was a good discussion. The gentleman understands what he's going to need to do for next year, and we look forward to having the application come back in the spring with a recommendation from the Commission. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On adoption of Councilor Lovely's recommendation that this matter be withdrawn without prejudice and resubmitted at a later date. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, November 18, 2010. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of Order Number 468, Home Rule Petition for additional liquor licenses, has considered said matter, would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. We actually had two very lengthy meetings on this regarding submitting a set of criteria for the licensing board and for the City Council to follow in the future for whether the city would consider submitting home rule petitions for additional liquor licenses to the State House for consideration. We had a lot of good commentary from a lot of restaurant owners on this, but we have more work to do. And I think that the matter should remain in committee, and we'll take it up at the beginning of next year, and we'll start to work on that. We were given a lot of information that we really weren't able to digest that night, you know, because it was a lot of information. We didn't even get a chance to read it. So the consensus of the committee was, let's have it remain in committee. Let's wait for the additional information to come in that we're waiting for. Then let's take a look, and we'll take it up again like first thing in January. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Lovely's recommendation, this matter stay in committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor Lovely.
One more, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, November 18, 2010. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of Order Number 217A of 2009, amending an ordinance relative to public notice and availability of information, also known as the Sunshine Ordinance, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption for first passage as amended.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a committee, as we all know, we have a sunshine ordinance that was put in place several years ago, actually, when Councilor Harvey was a member of this body. Since then, we saw that it needed some amendments and to be reworked. So a subcommittee was formed at least a year and a half ago. I actually wasn't a part of that original subcommittee, but I took over, Councilor O'Keefe was on that, was part of the subcommittee, but I took over for Councilor O'Keefe last year. And we continued to work on it. We had several meetings with the subcommittee, and I'd actually like to recognize the subcommittee of the Sunshine Ordinance, because this was a group of really dedicated people that showed up meeting after meeting and really tore this ordinance apart and then built it back up and put it back together. And I think what we have is something so much better than what we had before, and it actually now mirrors the changes that were done to the state open meeting law that passed at the end of the fiscal year this year in June. So I'll be happy to answer questions, but I do want to, and I'll go over the fine points, but I do want to recognize the members. We have a few of them in the chamber tonight. We've got Jim Carney is in the chamber, Polly Wilbert is here as well, T.C. Riley Goggin is here, Gary Michaels, Joanne McCrae, Hans Whedon is here, Lisa Joubert, Beverly McSwiggan is in the chamber. Our solicitor, Beth Renard, worked very hard on this, along with Jane Guy from Planning. Tom Watkins as well from the mayor's office. Our city clerk, Cheryl LaPointe, was on this committee and worked very hard. Jason Silva from the mayor's office. Eileen Sacco, the clerk from the school committee. Councilor Pelletier, myself, Councilor O'Keefe, and the city planner, Lynn Duncan. So just a few highlights, and I think councilors have this on their desk, of what why we need to take another look at this. A meeting calendar has to be maintained by the city's website, indicating the date, time, and location of public meetings. That wasn't, even though that was in the former ordinance, it needed to be more fine-tuned. Residents may subscribe to a service that provides email notification of public meetings. And right now, you can subscribe to, I'm not sure how many meeting notices. We're going to actually are asking the mayor to appropriate $1,000 to increase that subscription so people can get many more than they're able to right now. It was just a limitation of our program, our computer program. Meeting minutes must be posted on the city's website and maintained on the site for 3 years. We discussed, and actually the minutes for each public meeting must be prepared within 14 days of the meeting. There was a tremendous amount of discussion about this 14 days. It originally came in as 30 days, and that a lot of the clerks, actually, we talked to quite a few of the clerks. Jane Guy talked to quite a few of the clerks. She clerks, actually, many of the boards, a few of the boards. And what was the right amount of time? Was it 30 days? Was 30 days enough? Was for 30 days too much? And we actually, the committee voted on 14 days. And the reason why it went to 14 days is because some committees meet every other week. This body meets every other week. So the clerks have no choice but to have the minutes prepared because we pass them at the next meeting. So for purposes of consistency, we said, well, we should require all the clerks to have their meetings done in 14 days, especially clerks that meet only once a month. It would be kind of unfair to the clerks that have to have the minute meetings done every 2 weeks. Now they're doing two batches of meeting minutes a month, whereas the clerks that only have once a month, they have the whole month to do it. So we said, and also clerks are paid a stipend. It's not done on city time. It's actually done on what I call stipend time, or someone's personal time. It could be done an evening, weekend, whenever they're not in City Hall actually working. So the committee thought that the 14 days, and it's 14 calendar days as opposed to 14 business days, was sufficient. Jane Guy, said, well, I have to do them in 12 days, so, it doesn't matter to me if it's 14 or 30. I have to have them done in 12, so we went with the 14 days. Meeting agendas must be posted on the city's website for each public meeting held. Legal notices, bidding information, and certain reports must be available through the city's website. Actually, the city's going to go an extra step whenever information becomes available from the state, for example, and the city actually does this now, but for the MBTA garage project or other projects that may be coming up, that information will be put on the website as well, so that it'll be available to people before they go to those meetings. Then there's an administrative complaint process in case there's a violation of this ordinance. If there's a violation, people can complain to the Attorney General's office. They can then complain to this body. And if they still feel aggrieved, they can then go to the courts. And we felt that that was necessary. And that's kind of a summary. The committee worked very, very hard on this, and I want to thank each and everybody that did. There were a lot of revisions. There was a lot of good, healthy discussion about this. It wasn't an easy process. It may not be a perfect document, but I think our perfect ordinance, but I think it's a good ordinance. I think it's better than the one we've improved upon it. And I think going forward, we may open this process up again in a few years, or next year we may say, gee, we really need this, or we don't need that. But we had to, at some point, stop and put this forward, because we could work on this for years to try to make it perfect, and I don't think we ever will. But it's a good ordinance. It mirrors the open meeting law for the state, which is the most important part of this. We are now have come forward to, the 21st century, and we are getting information out available to our residents in a timely fashion and in a method that's through the web, which most people are on the web now. If you don't have web services, certainly you can call the clerk's office and get hard copies. But I think it's good. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And thank you for all your work on that one. We'll start on the left side, Councilor Ronan, and then Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd like to thank everyone through you on the subcommittee that put together this sunshine ordinance, because I can see that it's, there's an enormous amount of work that was involved. And 99.9% of this looks good to me. But the problem that I have with this is specifically and this part of the proposed ordinance does not mirror the state sunshine regulation. The 14 days, the 14-day limit that the clerks have to do the minutes of their meetings. I know that our clerk is very busy. I mean, in addition to doing our minutes, the minutes of the meeting, she does, an enormous amount of other work. Many of the bodies meet every other week. Ours really is every other, Thursday. So our meetings are 14 days apart, which means that the city clerk really has to do those right away. In fact, she doesn't really have 14 days to do that, because if you take a look at the next sentence in this very ordinance, it says that notwithstanding the 14 days, the minutes have to be done within 48 hours of the next meeting, which means that really the time that we're talking about having the clerk prepare the minutes is really just 12 days. Now, there are situations that I know of, that we have, for instance, elections coming up. And our city, our city clerks are very busy putting that together. It would be very difficult to force them to prepare their minutes within 12 days. The state law says within a reasonable period of time. I don't think that that's a deal breaker, so I would propose a friendly amendment that we change that 14 days to 21 days, give the clerk an additional week, and take out the language that says notwithstanding the 14 days or 21 days now, that the minutes have to be done within 48 hours of the next meeting. Because if you leave that sentence in, what you're really requiring all the clerks to do is present their minutes of the meeting within 12 days, and I think that that's really is an unreasonable time period. For the most part, I think that the preparers of these minutes do just that. For instance, if you go on our city website and you want to get the minutes of our council meeting, you can go all the way back to 2000. I mean, there's plenty of sunshine here. We do everything in open. Our meeting tonight is on TV. You want to go and check out any of the minutes of our meetings, all the way back to 2000. You can go on, you can click on the website, and you can see the minutes of our meeting. But I'm just suggesting that we not force really our clerk to, in some instances, a hearing should be dragged in, according to this, she could be dragged in by the city solicitor to a hearing before this body, and then if somebody, complained about that time period being violated, she could be taken over to the district court and prosecuted. So I think that's a little bit unreasonable, given the fact that, we really do work very hard, and that's not really anything, I think, in this body that's ever been an issue, our timely presenting the minutes of the meeting. So I would suggest it's not a major amendment. I'd suggest that as a friendly amendment, that we make it 21 days, and that we take out the language that says, notwithstanding the time limit, that the minutes of the meeting be within 48 hours of the next meeting.
Councilor Lovely.
Thank you. I just want to respond to that. If you read that sentence, it says, notwithstanding the 14-day calendar preparation period, draft minutes must be available for review no later than 48 hours prior to the next board's scheduled meeting. So it's really draft minutes, which is what our clerk is doing right now. Those are the draft minutes. You literally scan those and put those on the web. Those are the draft minutes. It's not meaning to have to, retype them or transcribe them. And it's actually 48 hours prior to the board's next scheduled meeting. So actually, it's 12 days later. Not right. It's 12 days later that the draft minutes have to be available. So I just wanted that to be clear. So plus the other part of this, and we discussed this quite a bit in committee, and I had referred to it as stipend time. Some committee members said, well, if clerks can't get to the meetings, they're being paid extra above and beyond their salary, then perhaps someone else might want that position. And I'm certainly not insinuating our clerk. It's all the clerks of all the boards. So, it was kind of, stressed in committee that it's not on city time. It's on other than city time because it's an extra duty at an extra pay. So, respectfully, I'm not going to take the friendly amendment, but I'm happy for you to make the amendment and we'll vote on it because we discussed it so much in committee that 14 days was. And we actually had agreement of committee that 14 days was going to be okay. So, but certainly if you want to put it to a vote, that's fine. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Sosnowski, Councilor Fury, Councilor O'Keefe, and then Councilor Pelletier. Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the most part, I'm not going to repeat everything that Councilor Ronan said, but I support much of what he said. There's one part here that needs to be understood, and that's the 14 days, which is, I understand the draft versus final, but there's a couple of issues here and a couple of key points that technically can't be done. Some of the points that we debate here in committee, not in committee, in council floors, do not get presented to the mayor until Monday. Then by law, she has 10 days to act on that. Technically, that's 14 days in itself. Never mind the fact you need to subtract 2 days for the 48 hours prior to the following meeting. So the mechanics of the numbers simply don't work in all situations. All right? Because if all of a sudden something was submitted to the mayor on Monday, she took all 10, the mayor, Her Honor, took all 10 days to consider that. Yeah, understanding it would only be a draft, not final, understanding that. Literally, at the end of the 10th day, that's Thursday. She automatically fails to comply with the law. Automatically, she's broken the law. There's something wrong with that. So no, I will not support it at 14 days. I would definitely support this at 21, because everything else in this whole thing is fine. Everything in this entire work that everybody did, and again, I'm going to repeat what everybody else has said. Kudos to everybody that was on the committee. They did a great job. But the 14 days mechanically can't even work. That needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Fury.
Yes, please. The city clerk's office is the epicenter of this. City Hall. It's the front guard, the front line of the City Hall. And I think this 21-day compromise, 21-day, will give the city clerk the professional leverage and accountability that's needed to make it a very promising possibility that sunshine is a reality. We're all in favor of sunshine. I think all of us in favor in this chamber as elected officials and people who took part are in favor of sunshine. But democracy on a national level, a state level, and a local level is sometimes messy. Doesn't always go to like a professional business like GE or whatever it may be. This is a democracy, and when you think of elections going on and everything going on in the city clerk's office, even in talking to myself personally in the classroom 38 years, no one day is the same in a classroom as a teacher. No one day is the same in the city clerk's office. So I think we have to give it some professional leverage and accountability, and the 21-day compromise is very professional. Thank you, Councilor Warner.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, members of the council, I have the ordinance. I'm not working from this redacted or read. So this is the ordinance we're working on, correct? That's what we're going to amend, not all of these papers. Right? This is what we're working on. So Councilor Ronan is suggesting on the second page, under paragraph A, that the 14 become 21, and we strike through notwithstanding the 14 calendar day preparation period with draft minutes must be available. That sentence is redacted, it's taken out.
Yes, that would be my
Is that correct?
That would be my motion.
Which document are you?
I'm talking about the official ordinance that we're,
Excuse me,
You've got
hold on,
the
hold on.
ordinance. Okay.
We're in section 2-2029 of the ordinance, which is on the bottom of the page.
202, okay, A.
A.
what we're working on,
Thank
not
you.
this other business here.
All right,
It should be, this was the ordinance, but
this
this before us by the city solicitor, correct? So that's what we're doing. We're gonna take out the 14, put 21, and take out the next sentence.
Wait a second, hold on. We're not doing anything yet until we vote on it.
No,
because-
that's the council's
But
recommendation.
if you, what you're trying to do is clarify what
Yes,
Councilor Ronan
yes.
is proposing.
Forget these
Okay.
other documents, it's gonna be too much in front of us. This
Okay.
is what's the official
So-
document.
I would request that you allow, since Councilor Ronan brought forth the amendment, I would request that you yield the floor to Councilor Ronan so he can make specific. I agree with the 21. Now, what is the word, what is the language you'd like redacted? Or you would like us to consider to redact?
My motion would be to amend the ordinance by changing in section 2-2029,
Mr. President?
14,
Hold on.
If I may, there's confusion here, because some are using the strike-through version, and some are using the other version.
Still, it's
So
still,
can we all get on the
it's still the
same
same ordinance.
I know, but it's different pages.
Well, it's the same section. It's section 2-2029.
okay.
Thank
So
you,
my motion would be that we amend this by changing the 14 calendar days in that section to 21 calendar days, and we strike the sentence that begins notwithstanding the 14, it says now 14 calendar days, but I want to strike that entire sentence.
Up to where it says the board's next scheduled meeting. Notwithstanding the 14 calendar day period, preparation period, draft minutes must be available for review no later than 48 hours prior to the board's next scheduled meeting. Is that the sentence?
Yes, I want to strike that sentence. Right. That's my motion.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Well, I was just gonna support Councilor Ronan's motion. I think that's what we should do. And I just wanna make sure that we have the proper document before us, instead of the strike through in different colors, that this is the official rule.
Thank you,
Ordinance
Council.
adopted.
Council Pelletier.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Mr. President, I fought long and hard in this committee to not have the 14 days. 14 calendar days turns into 8 regular business days. And these folks, whether stipend or not, they're not going to take this work home on the weekends, all right? And I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to create, anytime somebody has a problem with the meeting minutes not being online, not being here, we're going to be in this council for all hours with the city solicitor, going through section, 5, the administrative complaint department, complaint process, ensures a timely procedure for resolving alleged violations. Now, That tells me we barely have time to schedule meetings now. When are these meetings gonna be scheduled? I support Council Ronan, because I've been long in support on this. 14 days is not enough. I mean, granted, different boards and committees, like Cheryl, like our city clerk, she has to have the meeting minutes done for our next meeting, and other boards do too. But there's other committees out there that, let's just take the planning board, for example, when we're there, from 6 o'clock at night till 11 o'clock, with several different issues. Takes a while. And the stipends, a pittance, okay? Compared to, I don't know if you divide the hours these people work into that salary, that stipend, I bet you it's minimum wage. But I'm gonna support Council Ronan tonight, and I'll second his amendment right now on the floor. And I just want all of us to understand that this, and not only this council, but future councils might be called to the mat on a weekly basis, you know, for something that, I mean, I'd go so far as to mirror the state open meeting law, but I don't think I'd get the votes for that. But the 21 days, I feel is adequate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council. Any further discussion? Council Creevy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I support the 14 days because, as Council Lovely pointed out, it's as simple as the notes that are being taken right now, being scanned in and available. There's nothing here about they have to be typed, the draft. So I don't understand why 21 days are needed to do that. That's just me. So, and we talk about we're going to be in here dealing with complaints. If the 21-day passes, we still might be in here. That's not going to obviate that possibility. So we should make it consistent as much as possible with the boards. It makes sense, and we did discuss it at length in committee about how many of our boards throughout the city, including this body, meet on a every 2-week basis. So making sure we remain consistent with that and making sure that we get the minutes and of what happened at the last meeting walking into the new meeting. So I'm in support of that.
Council Sergeant.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have to also support the 14 days, so at least trying it. As far as concerns about going to court, I think that's a little bit drastic. I mean, in the last paragraph, given the provisions to file a complaint, there's 3 30-day periods. So it could be 90 to 120 days before anybody could even file a complaint with the court. They would have 30 days after an alleged violation to bring it forward, 30 days for the council to act on it, and 30 days for the council to report, so it could be 30 days before the council has a meeting on it, once they get it. And then 30 days after that to report. Could be 90 to 120 days. So I don't think there's any chance of us not having those records where they're supposed to be after 90 days. And so I don't think we're going to be on the 15th day anybody's going to be heading to court on that. I think there's and if there's any kind of problem like that, we'll be back in here tweaking this thing a little bit. I don't think we're going to get to that point at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. President. During the committee meeting, I had actually asked Council Lovely, the chair, I had a question about the 14 days. Was it working days? Was it consecutive days, weekend days? And I was told that they get stipends, they work on the weekends, so it's not just Monday through Friday, it's weekends. I wasn't comfortable with it at 14, and I am in support of the Sunshine Ordinance. I am in support of this. The 21 days was a question I had to myself. I felt that the resources at the city clerk's office could use all the help they can get. I think 21 days gives them a little leeway. I don't worry so much about somebody coming in and complaining, and I just worry about the fact that they're overburdened with work, and that the 21 days would give them a little, I don't know, breathing room, if you want to call it that, because I know all the work they do and I know how hard they work. I am going to support Councilor Rona's 21-day period. I was never comfortable with the 14. Had this amendment not been made, I would have voted with the 14. But where Councilor Rona brought in the 21, I personally feel more comfortable with the 21-day period. Thank you.
Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to, I know everyone keeps referencing the city clerk's office, and so this is kind of making it personal to the city clerk. This is not personal to the city clerk or the city clerk's office. We have 25 boards and commissions. So it's certainly, I know just about everyone here has referenced the city clerk and how hard they work. Yes, they work. I think all our city employees work very hard. It's not volunteer because all these clerks are getting paid. It's just not done on city time, and it can't be done on city time. It has to be done on other than city time. And, so we talked about that a lot. If you look under the minutes, the minutes have to be made available to the public within 10 days anyway if someone makes a request. It says right here, draft minutes are public records. It says minutes of an open session, if they exist, whether approved or in draft form, shall be made available upon request by any person within 10 days. So 21 days, it doesn't matter. I mean, I would actually hope that we'd avoid putting more work on the clerk's office or other clerks, because we could have 10 people call the next day and say, well, I want it, and within 10 days she's got to do it, and then within 21 days it has to be done. So it may end up creating more work, maybe not. We just talked about it a lot in committee. I think the 14 days is doable. If it's the will of this body to make it to 21, the majority of this body, so be it. But we talked about it so much. It was such a deep discussion, and Council Pelletier was there for some of it. The consensus out of the committee and the vote out of the committee was 14 days. Thank you.
Mr. President, I move the question.
We're going to move it. Councilor O'Keefe.
I move that the vote be taken by roll call. Vote taken by roll call. Yeas and nays.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Mr. President, clarification on the vote, please.
I will be clarifying that right now. There is Councilor Lovely has brought forth a recommendation to adopt, what's the council order? I'm sorry, Council.
It's 217A.
217A, Council Order 217A, the Sunshine Ordinance. On that being said, Councilor Ronan has offered an amendment to the ordinance, specifically in section 2-2029, in the second sentence, eliminating the 14 and making it 21, and then eliminating the following sentence: notwithstanding the 14 calendar day preparation period, draft minutes must be available for review no later than 48 hours prior to the board's next scheduled meeting. When we call the roll, a yay vote will be to accept the amendment, which I just clarified, which would be the 21 and elimination of that sentence. A nay vote will be to keep the ordinance as submitted. Madam City Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Lovely?
No.
Councilor O'Keefe?
Yay.
Councilor Pelletier?
Yay.
Councilor Pinto?
Yes.
Councilor Prevey?
No.
Councilor Ronan?
Yes.
Councilor Ryan?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
No.
Councilor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of accepting the amendment, we have 11 councilors voting, 8 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. The amendment is adopted. To the
Mr. President,
Councilor O'Keefe.
I move immediate reconsideration and hope that the vote will not prevail.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor O'Keefe moves for immediate reconsideration. Hopes not prevail. All is in favor. All is opposed.
Opposed.
We now have in front of us Council Order 217A, the City of Salem Code of Ordinance, Sunshine Ordinance, as newly amended with the language just adopted. Councilor Lovely, would you like to move for passage by roll call
Move
vote?
for first passage by roll call vote, Mr. President.
Councilor Lovely's motion that we adopt Council Order 217A for first passage by roll call vote.
Mr. President, as amended.
As amended, with the language we just voted in. A yay vote will adopt this, and nay vote will not. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yay.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yep.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. As the first passage of Council Order 217A, first passage as amended, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative.
Mr.
Pass
President,
first passage. Councilor O'Keefe.
I move immediate reconsideration and hopes that it will not prevail on first passage.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for immediate reconsideration on first passage. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
Further committee reports. Councilor Lovely, you're all set?
All set, thank you.
And if I could take just a brief second on personal privilege, only because Councilor Lovely will not be in attendance for our next meeting. I just want to personally thank you for all your work with your committee, because you won't be here for the last meeting. Councilor Lovely has done a banner job with licensed lawyer legal affairs to clear up a lot of stuff that was left in committee. It was carried over, and a lot of stuff that gets referred, and I just want to personally go on record and thanking you for all your work this year.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, November 18, 2010. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation in the amount of $48,306.75 from the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback account for retired Captain John Joden, has considered said matter and will recommend that the matter be approved.
On acceptance of report, all those in favor, all those opposed, adoption of the recommendation under discussion.
Mr. President, we met tonight on, as I just read, on Captain Joden's buyback that was entitled to him under the contract for the police department. This matter was referred to committee and actually sat there for a few weeks because this matter was first submitted to us back in October. There were some negotiations or more along the lines of a dispute as to the actual amount. So as not to further delay Captain Joden's buyback amount that he's entitled to, I wanted to have this approved. At some point, I know there's a dispute that exists that's going to arbitration that may result in a further appropriation being submitted by the mayor to us, but that's something that's going to happen many months, it sounds, down the road. So we won't have to concern ourselves, but for now, we will certainly give Captain Joden what he's entitled to through the contract now that he is retired.
Thank you, Council. Any further discussion? Councilor Pelletier.
A question to the chair, where there's problems with that, and there might be some legal action taken. If we take a vote tonight to give him this money, where he's probably owed more money, will that hurt his case? I mean, is anybody, if we vote on it tonight, that's a done deal. That's the way I see it.
Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Pelletier. That question was actually asked of the city solicitor. She was in the chamber. It was the city solicitor. I neglected to say the finance director and the human resources director, Lisa Camerata. And that same question was asked of Beth Renard, and she indicated no, because the amount that we're approving is the amount that has minimally been agreed upon by the administration. Captain Joden claims a different amount that will go higher, but again, the police union filed an arbitration, but that's going to drag on for some months. And, the settlement of this case is not going to affect, obviously, any future decision by arbitration.
Did the chair
Councilor
contact Captain Joden?
Several times, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Prevey's recommendation that this matter be approved, all those in favor? All those opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor Prevey. No more. Thank you.
Further.
Any further committee reports? Seeing none. Communications from city officials.
We have a communication from the city solicitor submitting an ordinance, Chapter 12, Article 2, relative to maintenance of structures and property.
Counsel Lovely?
Move that it be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs. Under discussion?
Under discussion.
Just quickly, we have been expecting this. The police department did contact me about the graffiti ordinance and how they thought that it could look better, but no one's had an opportunity to see this, so let's put it into committee, and we'll turn it right around the first of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counsel Lovely's recommendation, this matter be referred to the Committee on License, Orders, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further communication from city officials.
We have a communication from Chief Paul Tucker of the Police Department denying issuance of 2 applications for tag days from organizations from Williamstown, Mass. and Manchester, New Hampshire.
Counsel Lovely.
Move that they be received and placed on file.
Any discussion?
I'm not familiar with it, just seeing it on my desk tonight,
Okay.
but if the police chief says no, then,
I agree with you.
yeah, good enough for me.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counsel Lovely's recommendation that these matters be denied. He's asking for
Well,
denial?
that's what I was going to say. It should be denied, Mr. President? Is that the motion?
That's, I'm looking for clarification from the
All right.
committee chair. Thank
Move
you.
that,
Oh,
Thank-
move that be denied, these 2 applications.
Thank you.
On Counsel Lovely's recommendation that these matters be denied, all those in favor? All those opposed? Petitions.
We have following licenses: junk dealer, public guide, and tag days.
Counsel Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
On Counsel Lovely's recommendation, these matters be referred to the Committee on License, Orders, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
We have 1 limousine license.
Counsel Lovely.
Move it be granted.
Counsel Lovely's recommendation, this matter be granted. All those in favor? All those opposed?
We have
Further
one-
petitions.
We have 1 drain layer contract operator license.
Counsel Lovely.
Move it be granted.
Counsel Lovely's recommendation, this matter be granted. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further petitions.
We have 2 claims.
Counsel Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
On Counsel Lovely's recommendation that these matters be referred to the Committee on License, Orders, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further petitions.
We have 3 constable bonds and 1 drain layer bond.
Counsel Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
On Counsel Lovely's recommendation that these matters be referred to the Committee on License, Orders, and Legal Affairs and returned approved. All those in favor? All those opposed? Unfinished business.
We have the second reading of an order to amend the rules and orders of the City Council by adding Section 28C, public testimony portion of the regular meeting.
Mr. President?
Can I first need to recognize Counsel Lovely, Counsel?
All right.
Will,
That's fine.
thank you. Counsel Lovely.
Move that it be adopted by roll call vote, Mr. President.
Under discussion?
Under discussion, Mr. President, this was actually held over under the rules from our last meeting, and this is to allow for public testimony at our council meetings. At the beginning of every meeting, which would be actually right after the Pledge of Allegiance, but before hearings, we'll have an opportunity for the public to come in and address us right here. It would be only regarding matters that are on our agenda, and it would be a maximum of 2 minutes in length. And actually, I would offer a friendly amendment to this. Can I do that, Madam Clerk? City Clerk? That it exceed no more than the first 30 minutes of the meeting, because we don't want to exceed these meetings hours and hours, but we do want an opportunity to have people come in. And if there's a line out the door, then we would probably have to limit that testimony to maybe 1 minute to have everyone be able to speak. I know that's been a concern of some counselors, and I'm happy to offer that as a friendly amendment, that this occur within the first up to 30 minutes. I'm not quite sure where that should be inserted, but I should probably determine that, Madam Clerk. May set a time limit by which, actually, Mr. President, you may set the time limit by which each individual presenting testimony must abide. So actually, we could leave it open, but certainly the president of the council could set that time to the first 30 minutes of a meeting, up to the first 30 minutes, so between 7 and 7:30. Now, the issue is that when would this come in? Say if the mayor was coming to address us, I still think that the public input would come in, and then the mayor would address us after after that. So it really should come in after the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. And I just think that this is something that we should do. I know the newspaper wrote an editorial against it. I know there's probably certain members of this body that aren't in favor of it. Personally, I'm in favor of it. I think it's good government. I think it's just time that we allow this to happen. Beverly does it. There's plenty of other communities that do it. I haven't heard of any issues. I've talked to a few Beverly City councilors. Our own school committee does it every single meeting. That's why the Salem City Council can't do it as well. And I'm in support of it. So I'll withdraw my friendly amendment. I actually think that the president can limit the debate to the first 30 minutes. That would be my recommendation. And I support this for passage tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, I support this change in our rules, but I believe, hearing the councilor, chairman opinion, I think the mayor should be always recognized ahead of the public process here. That if she has an important issue, bond issue, appropriation, fix a school, or whatever, we shouldn't, have to wait another half hour, or maybe 45 minutes. I think she should be given, after the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, the mayor should, if she's here, and she has a matter to discuss, she should be given preference over the public input. But I believe that the public input is important, and I support that.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, I'm going to kind of do an odd thing here. I'm actually going to support this, but I'm going to ask for a couple of amendments. The first one would be that this be limited to 15 minutes first. The second one would be that it start at the first meeting in January, and the third amendment would be that it be for a 6-month trial period. All right, and we see where it goes from there. The other part about it that I would amend would be here that as it's written now in section 26C, paragraph number 5. Apparently this was in response to a question, or one of the rules that was originally stated. One of the rules that was originally stated was that the councilors would not be allowed to talk back to anybody that would come to a podium and address the council. Right here it says it'd be permitted at the pleasure of the president. What I'd like to do is remove that and say, no, they just have a comment period only.
Could you be specific on where that is on this page, please, sir?
It's second sentence in paragraph 5 in the actual order that's before us. Rule 26C.
No, I haven't.
I'm sorry, 28C, excuse me.
So in numbered part 5, the last number, which part, as a public comment period, it is not a public hearing, a question and answer period. Response to questions by citizens will be permitted only at the pleasure of the president.
Right. So in other words, as the public comment period is not a public hearing or a question and answer period, response to questions would not be allowed. That's what I would move for.
So
because
You want to strike number 5?
So you want to strike that?
Yes.
Because we're going to as soon as we're going to take them up one at a time after discussion. I just want to make sure I got them all.
That's correct.
Okay, so you want to strike that. You're asking for, it starts on the first regular meeting in January, which I don't know the date, but I will get that 6-month trial period. And what was the last thing? The first thing?
A 15-minute duration.
15-minute time limit?
Right. And I don't think we should be including the mayor in this as well, because like Councilor O'Keefe was referring to, we have some pretty important subjects that need to come before us, and we can't be limiting her to 2 minutes or
we can't do that.
per speaker and 15 minutes.
The mayor's not included. No. The mayor's not included.
There's no limit.
Because I thought I heard something to that effect a few minutes ago.
No.
No, that doesn't,
because I want her to be exempted.
Yeah, no, she's nothing to do with the mayor.
All right.
God,
So,
no.
just so that we're clear on that, because I
Okay.
wasn't sure where council was going with that. All right, but that would be what I would ask for at this point. And the other part about it is, we've been hearing, originally when we met and we talked about this in committee, we had a few examples given to us, and a couple of them we did some research on, and some of the cities that were actually referenced as examples of where they adopt this practice, the average total length of their meetings averages less than half an hour. Total length. And then in other communities where we were given an example, and we did some research on, they have a much larger... bless you, whoever that was. And in some communities where they have a larger population, much more similar to ours, when they let the meetings go unlimited, according to what we did on research, it wasn't uncommon for their meetings to go to midnight or longer. So that's why we really need to put a time limit on this. And of course, I'm not opposed to public input at all, actually. I mean, I don't think anybody here is. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel. Before any further comment, do you want to take up the proposed changes, or do you want to comment further and take them all up at the end? I'll leave that to the will of the body. Counsel Pelletier, do you have your hand up?
I just got one question on part 5. I agree with Councilor Sinowski on 2 points, the 15 minutes and deleting the last sentence. But in section 5, where does that sentence go? By motion and a majority vote, the city council may choose to schedule a public hearing on any subject more appropriately addressed in such a, what?
Counsel, let me clarify. That isn't what he's looking to strike.
I'm going beyond his striking.
You're going beyond his striking.
I'm trying to clarify what that sentence says. Well,
Okay.
what does the sentence say? In such a, am I missing something? In such a way, or?
I don't know where it is. I don't know.
Where is it?
We had it, but not on this. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
It's a scrivener's error.
But we're gonna strike it. I mean, you moved to strike the whole thing.
Because that's already in our rules, Mr. President, on committee meetings anyway.
Okay.
So if this is gonna go through,
The whole
and they come up and speak
Yeah.
for their time, just on the, what's on the agenda, nothing else, I have no problem with it. Put a time limit on it, so we don't go all night, because it's gonna be just on the limits. I think we can get rid of section 5 almost in entirety and just put, just leave it as a public comment period, as the public comment period is not a public hearing or a question and answer period. Period. End it there. Get rid of the rest. Because the last sentence goes nowhere. Where's the last sentence go?
Counsel Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree. I understand where Council Pelletier is going with this, and I agree with him.
Okay.
All right, and this is actually an open-ended paragraph that has no conclusion. All right, toward that end, basically, a person coming here, talking before us, is going to talk about a subject that's already on the agenda. Once we get to that part of the agenda, after the public comment period is over, and we're going through the regular business of council here, and we get to that particular agenda item, at that point, if it's something that we need to consider what has been said at that point, if it is deemed worthy, we send it to committee where it can be completely vetted out. And essentially, that's what I think the verbiage was trying to say here, even though they failed miserably at putting that down. So, I mean, but basically, that's understood here by the council. I mean, everything here is on the agenda, it's going to be discussed, and if we don't think it's discussed properly, we put it back to committee, and we let it air out again. Thank you. At some time, when there's no restriction on time, anybody can talk any length, any amount of time, and we continue it. If we need multiple meetings, we go multiple meetings.
Fine.
Thank you. Counsel Roman.
Yes, Mr. President. I am certainly not against public comment. I think that there's a time and a place for public comment, and I'm not really sure that, while the council is deliberating, is the time for public comment. As I said before, if we have a substantial point before us, we have on a number of occasions suspended our rules so that we can hear people that are speaking on a particular issue that we think can enlighten this board. The public is welcomed. We put our telephone numbers, our addresses, our email addresses on the television, so people can call us and comment about a particular issue. At subcommittee meetings, we welcome the public. We welcome the public at public hearings before the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Board of Health, etc. Certainly, I am all for public comment. The problem that I see is allowing people to come into this council while we're deliberating on issues and essentially taking up our time. We are elected officials. We're a representative form of government. We're not a direct form of government. The difference is, the town meeting versus a city council. In a town meeting, everybody shows up, everybody has their say, and everybody has a vote. That is not what we are. I mean, that's, you know, we're not really the establishers of this form of government. It goes back, you know, to the beginning of time. We represent our constituents. I represent the constituents of Ward 5. Now, I'm not sure that the people that want to come in and speak on any given issue are representative of the entire body. But I've been elected to represent the entire body, everybody in Ward 5. So that being said, you know, I would suggest that if we're going to do this and it's going to work at all, there's got to be a reasonable time limit on this. As you know, some of our meetings haven't ended till midnight. I mean, it's you know, it's too much on a busy night. So I would back my council's suggested amendments that we limit the time period certainly to 15 minutes or within the discretion of the council president. If we need to take more time than that in the public comment section of our meetings, we could always move for a suspension of the rules. But so that this public comment period doesn't degenerate into a, you know, question and answer format, so that it doesn't degenerate really into a debate between an angry constituent and this representative body, I do agree that we should not allow there to be a question and answer type format, but that the comments strictly, you know, be comments from the public. So, you know, in terms of a compromise, I would suggest that Councilor Sosnowski's amendment makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilor O'Keefe.
Through you, Mr. President, a question to Council Warner then. If a council wanted to respond, you don't want us to be able to respond?
Correct. Absolutely correct. Because what's that?
I think we should be able to do that.
Well,
if they ask a question,
let's vote on that, because I think that would degenerate into a debate, and I think that's exactly what I want to
But that could be
avoid.
cut off, that person, through you, Mr. President, could be cut off by the president. I mean, I think that, you know, a democracy should be able to, no? I think so.
Do you think you could, Mr.
I
President?
think so.
Hold on. Councilor O'Keefe, are you yielding the floor now?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Councilor
thank you,
Ron.
sir.
Mr. President, through you.
Yep.
To my brother, the Ward 7 councilor, do you think that you could go into Capitol Hill while the House is debating on a particular issue and get into a debate, a question and answer session with, you know, our congressman? It's not that format. So that's why I'm suggesting that we really stay above the fray and we don't, you know, have this public comment period degenerate into, you know, essentially, you know, a debate. You're not going to be able to talk a constituent who has made up his mind to come in here and vent. You're not going to be able to convince him that his position is you know, not correct. So there won't be. I mean, if you allow the question and answering, there won't be a smooth resolution. And you certainly won't be able to limit the time period to 15 minutes because you'd be taking up time from the public in responding or questioning the speaker from the public.
Mr. President.
Councilor Sergeant first, then Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to intervene, if I might, this beginning period is public time. It's not our time. It's not elected official time. Our time comes during the meeting when the public can't speak on that issue. So we can take note of what they say, and when the issue comes up, we have every right to stand up and speak as we are now. And that would be our time. I would ask that we don't mix those times, please.
Councilor O'Keefe, then Councilor Creevy.
Rejoinder to my brother colleague from Ward 5. In other words, if someone comes up here and says, I believe the speed limit is 30 miles an hour on such and such a street, and I know that it's 10 miles an hour, I can't tell that person, oh, no, you're wrong, it's 10?
That's right.
I can't know. I don't think I think I should be able to say that. Well, that's just one point I bring up, but I mean, we're going to have issues like that, we're going to say that person is not correct.
See what's happening right here now?
Point of order, Mr. President.
Point of order. Councilor Creevy.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, the
Perfect
purpose,
example.
the purpose of this is to make sure that there's an opportunity for the public, based upon the agenda items that are before us at night, to provide comment to it, to give their opinion for our due consideration before we officially, well, we just officially had started the meeting, but before we get into the deliberative portion of the meeting section. Maybe someone will actually make some type of comment or make some type of point that may make us reconsider something that perhaps we already had our minds made up. So I see this as a beneficial thing. I disagree with Councilor O'Keefe regarding debating people, because there is going to be someone that's out there that perhaps, you know, whatever their situation is, whatever their beef is, they may see it as an opportunity to come in here and then publicly try to debate the council, and that should not be what this is about. I support Councilor Sosnowski's proposal that we put in some type of provision where we take this matter up again in 6 months. You know, whatever the date would, whatever the trigger would be, so we can sit down, examine it, get some feedback from the subcommittee that worked on this, and see how things are working with respect to this. Obviously get feedback from every member of the council. Towards that end, I just don't see the necessity, at least at this point, of putting in a 15-minute duration. I think we should leave it that the president has the discretion to set the time limit and see how it goes. If after the 6-month period we feel that a time limit is necessary, then we can make an amendment at that point. So I think we should let it go as it is right now, see how it goes, 6 months, bring everyone back to the table, and then make an evaluation determination on what's working, what isn't, and maybe we'll have some ideas at that point how to even improve or expand upon what's here already. So, but you know, conceptually, I certainly agree with this wholeheartedly, and I see it as an opportunity that's going to benefit us and really help us as representatives of the city. Thank you.
Actually, Councilor Lovely?
Yes.
That's all right. Thank you.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I would have to, first of all, I agree with the whole concept of public comment period. With regards to Councilor O'Keefe's statement, he has to remember one thing. We're the elected body. The matter that anybody may come up and speak to us about that you may disagree with, they're just trying to bring a point. Whether their point is valid or invalid, at the point during the meeting when we're taking up that item, that's when we debate it amongst ourselves, and you can address that point at that point. All as this is doing is allowing whichever person from the public wants to come up and say whatever they want about a particular item that's on our agenda, whether or not they feel whatever the issue may be. So you have to remember one thing: once that period's over, when that item comes up in front of us, we still have the ability to deliberate that, and we can address that. That being said, I would, as much as I don't want to pass it off to the next president and whoever he or she may be, I agree with, when we start fresh in the new year after our organizational meeting on the 3rd, we have to reorganize, and I'm replaced and I'm back amongst all of you down here, and I'm no longer up there. Happy days, huh? Then I would agree that it should start in the first regular meeting in January, whatever date that is. I also agree with the 6-month trial period. I think that after we deal with the first part of the calendar year and we get through the budget cycle, and after we break, maybe during the summer break, we can have some sort of meeting to discuss whether or not it's working or not, so then we bring back a recommendation for the first meeting after we come back from break to make sure that if we want to continue that, I would consider that as well. But I also want to say that I really wholeheartedly agree with the striking of what's in Part 5, because when you read that, when you read that, it makes it sound like, to me, and nothing infuriates me more than I think when I hear someone, when we have a public hearing or something, and just because any one of us gets up and says something with regard to on either side of an issue, and someone is sitting behind you and they say they're not listening. Just because I don't agree with a member of the public or they don't agree with me doesn't mean we're not listening. It's just that I agree on a different view. So it infuriates me when you're sitting in this chamber or at any other meeting and someone says, well, they're not listening. It doesn't mean we're not listening. It's just that I didn't agree with you. And that doesn't mean I'm not listening. It doesn't mean I didn't hear you. But that being said, I think that the elimination of language in 5 also, you know, if you read that, it would leave it open-ended that if all of a sudden, if just because at a public hearing, people got the opinion that we were going to go one way on a certain topic, or it was, you know, we took a vote on something, and then if people were going to line out the door just because they lined up out the door, that we were going to then reopen a public hearing or bring the matter back because there was such an amount of people. I don't agree with that. I think that taking that language out just says, you know what, it's a public comment period. You want to make a comment about what's in front of us, let them have their say. I agree with the majority of what's in here. I would look to, once I get back up there, we'll look at how we want to address each one of these friendly amendments to this. But I think I would ask all my colleagues, once amended, whichever the amendments are, that we approve this. I think it's important to let the public know that they do have an opportunity to come before us. And I would, you know, the one thing with regard to the mayor that you always have to remember is the mayor's informational page is farther on in our agenda. The mayor we typically always waive the rules because the mayor is addressing on whatever their issue is, and she wants to come and talk to us. We're always waiving the rules to allow her to speak first. So that would be up to the discretion of the president and the body to decide whether or not if we would allow the mayor to proceed before the comment period or after the comment period, because we'd have to we typically waive the rules because the mayor's, wherever it is usually farther on in the agenda than we usually take it up. We usually take it up, out of courtesy for the position, we usually take it up earlier in the meeting. So that being said, I don't think we have to specifically say that. That would be up to the discretion of the body. So I would urge my colleagues, once we finish debating on which of these amendments, friendly amendments to this, I would urge my colleagues to vote for this. I think it will work, and I only hope that the new president, whoever he or she may be, is able to deal with this, and I hope that they get the support of the members in order to deal with this in a professional way that allows the people to know that we do appreciate their comments and that they can come in and speak to us on, you know, as long as they follow the rules that are in front of us. Thank you. Don't want to slip on that. Council Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's good to stretch my legs. I've been sitting down listening to everybody talk for a while. I do support this. I think as public officials, for any one of us to not allow the public to speak would be a sin, quite frankly. As far as the mayor speaking before the people speak, I disagree with that. I think that our meeting will not start until the public is done speaking. I think that's their time. I think once the public is done speaking, we have our turn in our meeting, so I disagree with Councilor O'Keefe on that. As far as the time frame, I think, you know, if we say 15 minutes, if we say 30 minutes, I think the discretion of the president, I think, could use, you know, he's going to see if there's 10 people, 15 people. I mean, having a time limit. Me, personally, I don't have a problem with the time limit. If there's 40 people here, I say let them speak, and maybe some of you don't agree with that, but I just feel that these are the people that put us where we sit, so they should be allowed to speak. They're the taxpayers. They're the ones that pay the bills. They're the ones that put us here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's be very clear. There isn't anybody here that wants to deny the public any opportunity to address anybody here. I don't think, and if there is, there's certainly an answer to that, and it's called Election Day. If we don't respond to you, vote us out. And it's that simple, and that's where we should be. We should be out of here if we don't respond to you. But my initial reaction to this, the first time we talked about this, was I was in opposition to it. And listening to everything that's going on here tonight, I still offer these amendments in a friendly style because I want to have a public comment period. But there isn't anybody in this chamber tonight. There has never been anybody in this chamber. There has never been anybody in this entire city that I don't either answer their emails, answer their phone calls, answer their letters, or go to their neighborhood meetings or go to ASNA meetings and give them unrestricted time to talk. Completely unrestricted. What I first objected to the first time we talked about this was there was a 2-minute limit. We had an experience, a very unpleasant experience, where there was literally tens of people that wanted to talk on a really important subject, and they were just stifled because time ran out. Time out, ding dong, the hook's out, you're gone. That was wrong. If we're going to have a public comment period, it should be where these things first get discussed. When we have an issue come before us here at council agenda and on the council floor, by the time we're voting on it, with very few exceptions, this is not the first time we've talked about it. We have gone through tens of hours of testimony of listening to all sides of the fence, pros, cons, before we make a decision. And at those meetings, nobody is restricted to 2 minutes. And you're not allowed, if there's 40 people speak and they run out of time because the bewitching hour came and everybody turned to pumpkins, we schedule a second meeting, or a third or a fourth meeting. We do not want to restrict the people what they have to say to us, because I think that's the part that really agitated me the first time. I don't want to restrict anybody from saying anything at any time, at any length. Nobody should be restricted, because that's who we represent. They put us here. I'm not going to tell you, okay, your time's up, you can't talk anymore. That's ridiculous. But so part of me is opposed to this, part of me is for this, because naturally, I support public input. But I mean, my gosh, I mean, it could get completely out of control. If it's such a contentious issue that there's 15 people on one subject out here, quite honestly, it doesn't deserve to be voted on at that point. It probably should go back to committee and be aired out again. All right, so there's so many different things of looking at that. I mean, there's so many different ways to do that. All right, but I am opposed to anything that restricts anybody's time to talk to us, because that's just not fair to them. And I don't know how else to put it. I mean, it's just that simple. And yeah, I support this public comment period, but I don't like being compared to other bodies either, because we need to remember we are a legislative body, and that has a significant difference over just a committee or a subcommittee or something like that. We are a legislative body. When we sit to meet, we have a lot of serious business we debate here. And it's some of the basics of what we do here are being forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.
Counsel, curious question, if I may. I mean, I'm a little, are you withdrawing your amendment for a 15-minute time limit on the comment period?
No, I am not. I am maintaining a 6-month trial period. I want to have a 15-minute, the second amendment would be 15-minute limit. Okay. I would, 30 minutes, this would be effective as of the first meeting in January, whatever date that might be. And then, according to what some of our discussion here has boiled down to, I would eliminate paragraph 5.
Except for the first part of the first sentence. I would. The public comment period is not public hearing or question and answer period.
That's correct.
Thank you.
I would.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is good to have in the beginning of a meeting. I mean, the school committee does it. I mean, I agree with Councilor Sosnowski that I hate putting restrictions on people. We saw what happened with the Board of Health, and people getting cut off. But I mean, you have to have some kind of framework in there to work within. But I mean, these people are coming in, they're just gonna talk on whatever's on the agenda. As far as like Councilor O'Keefe said, the speed limit, if that's on the agenda, that's what they'll be talking about. And then your turn to, like you said, to debate that will be when it comes on the floor. Then you can correct the person if they were wrong. But it gives that person the opportunity to come up, even though they can call any of us and do that, they can get on the record on TV and say what they feel. I mean, it's something to work out and see how it works for like 6 months and go from there. But I think it's definitely something that I think will make this better. I mean, we don't have, like, our meetings have to be 3 hours, so we don't want to be here forever. But I mean, if that's whatever amount of time it takes, I mean, we want to give them the opportunity to have their say on the agenda items, and they're not going to debate between us. We'll be here all day if they do that. So that's all I have.
Council Pelletier.
Just to be clear, Mr. President, on section 5, we're going to leave the first sentence.
We're going to leave the first part of the first sentence where there's now it says period, then comma, and then it says response. We're just going to end it with the word period with a period.
Right. But I would suggest taking as the, and replacing it with this or some other type of wording.
How about a public comment period?
This is, I'm looking for.
Take out as.
Yeah,
Thank you.
take out as.
Gotcha.
And, okay.
Perfect.
I'd like to order, I'd like to make another amendment if I can get the votes. Section 4, citizens providing testimony under this section shall be deemed out of order, stop, by any counselor, may have their comment period terminated by the president insert after out of order by any counselor and keep going from there.
We'll take a vote on that, but I don't know. If you're asking me personally, that should be under the discretion of the chair, but that's fine.
I'm all set. I'll withdraw.
You're gonna withdraw that, thank you.
I'll withdraw so we can go home.
All right, now,
No.
any further comment?
What?
Any further comments? Seeing none, we're gonna take, there's been one,
You
two,
want it all the time.
3, 4. There's been 4 friendly amendments to this document.
Where did they go?
We're going to take them up one at a time. Do we need to roll call vote each one individually?
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Mr. President, we need to determine exactly where they go.
Where they go?
Yeah, exactly where they go in
Okay.
this. If I might make a suggestion.
Sure. I'm up for that.
In number 2, at the end of the sentence, okay, so it says, in order to manage public testimony in a reasonable amount of time before opening the public testimony portion of the meeting, the president may set a time limit by which each individual presenting testimony must abide, period. The public testimony portion shall not exceed 15 minutes.
Correct, that should be either 2A or just a second edition.
I think it should stay in 2, right in 2. With
Public testimony
regard,
period shall not exceed,
the public testimony portion shall not exceed 15 minutes.
okay?
And then if I could, after number 5, the public comment period is not a public hearing or question and answer period, add a number 6. This rule shall commence on January 2011, commence on January 1st, 2011, and shall be reviewed on or before July 30th, 2011 for further consideration. July 30th, 2011. Did I say that? I did.
It shall be reviewed.
Well, we have another meeting in July. That's why I said July 30th, because someone had said, do it and then talk about the, recess for the summer. June 30th is fine with me, if that's easier. Yeah, June 30th.
This rule shall commence on January 1st, 2011, and shall be reviewed.
On or before June 30th, 2011 for further consideration. And I think that, Mr. President, that covers those amendments.
How many got?
Other than striking out of part of number 5.
Yes, right, and strike out the remainder of number 5, where it
Strike it
says
as.
response, right.
Mr. President?
Remove
Yes, Counselor. Yes, Counselor O'Keefe.
Will the clerk of the
Sorry,
city,
I apologize.
will the clerk of the city council then read what the language is in 2?
In 2,
In 2.
the public testimony portion shall not exceed 15 minutes.
Shall not exceed 15 minutes?
That's added to the end of.
That's at the end,
At the
after the
end.
word abide.
All right, thank you for the information.
Any other discussion? Is it the will of the body to take all these amendments in one? There seems to be,
No,
do you want to take them, you want to take them separately?
Move for division of the question.
Roll call vote on each one?
Yep.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir. Roll call on each vote, because I think it should be a half
Listen,
hour. I'm not
listen,
going to go for 15
I
minutes.
I realize I only
No
have
way.
one more meeting up here, but I'm going to flex my muscles a little bit on that one, all right. We shall take them up one at a time. The first,
At a time.
yeah, thank you, Counsel. The first amendment to the order that we shall take up will be
On the
the
whole thing?
inclusion of the sentence in
Do we need-
number 2, which shall read, "The public testimony portion shall not exceed 15 minutes." Is everyone in agreement on that? A yay vote will mean we agree with that. A no vote means we do not favor that. We understand?
Yep.
Yay is limiting.
Yay includes the sentence.
Mr. President,
Yes,
point of clarification.
yes, ma'am.
So we're voting on the amendments, and that's a majority vote on amendments, but to adopt the rule is 2/3.
Correct.
Okay.
Right now, we're just dealing with the amendments,
Thank
one
you.
at a time. And the first amendment we're dealing with is what I just read, was in the in the order, in number 2, at the end of the existing sentence, that ends with the word abide, we're gonna add the sentence, the public testimony portion shall not exceed 15 minutes. A yea vote means we include that, a nay vote means we eliminate that. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Keeping us here all night.
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Lovely.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe.
Nay.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Counselor Pinto.
No.
Counselor Prevey.
No.
Counselor Ronan.
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
No.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Sosnowski.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. On the amendment of the existing order at number 2, which adds the sentence, the public testimony portion shall not exceed 15 minutes, we have 11 councilors voting, 7 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The amendment carries. Now we'll be dealing with the second amendment, which...
Now, Mr. President, could I ask a question?
Yes, Counselor.
How much time is a citizen going to have with the 15 minutes? How much time will he be allowed, or she be allowed?
Counselor, we just debated all that.
Well,
That would be up to...
15 minutes, what, do we get 5 people at 2, or what?
That would be up to the discretion of the president.
Not
Well,
to-
suppose you have a red-hot issue like the senior center,
And it needs to
for
go,
example.
That would be in committee first.
needs to go to committee.
Well, all right, and then they come to the council. They can still speak at the council if it's on the agenda, correct? So we'll have a group here of individuals, citizens, that are going to be told, 15 minutes, the clock is running, that's it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep? Well, that's not right.
I agree.
Counselor, we just took...
Counselor, at that point, they're gonna tell you how to vote.
Counselor, thank you for clarifying your vote on that one.
No,
Let's move to the next question.
we'll go to the next one.
Move the question.
Thank you. We're going to move the question. Thank you.
Mr. President, before we move the question, I mean, can I move for immediate reconsideration on this one? In hopes that it does not prevail?
We move for immediate reconsideration. There's a motion on the floor for immediate reconsideration. I hope it's not available. All those in favor?
Favor.
Reconsideration? Yes, in
Opposed.
favor. Favor.
Opposed.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Oh,
Thank you.
Opposed has it.
The second amendment to this order that we'll be taking up is in number 5, to get rid of the word "as" at the start of the first sentence, and the number 5 shall read, "The public comment period is not a public hearing or a question and answer period, period." That is the only sentence that will be involved in number 5. The rest of it has been stricken. A yea vote will be to make the language as just read. A nay vote will revert it back to its original language. Madam City Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Lovely.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe.
yes.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Counselor Pinto.
Yes.
Counselor Prevey.
Yes.
Counselor Ronan.
Yes.
Counselor Ryan.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Sosnowski.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. Thank you, Madam City Clerk. On the friendly amendment to the order with regards to Section 5, it is now going to read, as proposed, the public comment period is not a public hearing or a question and answer period. We have 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The amendment carries.
Reconsideration.
Council Sosnowski is asking for immediate reconsideration. Those hope does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
The last amendment to the order actually combines two proposed amendments, and I'll read it. The amendment in front of us will be number 6. This rule shall commence on January 1st, 2011, which brings forth what Councilor Sosnowski had asked about. It starts in the first regular meeting in January, and shall be renewed on or before June 30th, 2011 for further, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reconsider.
For further reconsideration, taking into the 6-month trial period that he also asked for. So what's in front of us now is in addition to the order, which would be number 6, which shall read, "This rule shall commence on January 1st, 2011, and shall be reviewed on or before June 30th, 2011 for further consideration." A yea vote will add number 6, a nay vote will not add number 6. Madam City Clerk, will you
Mr.
please
President.
call? Yes, Councilor O'Keefe.
I think grammatically it should say these rules, you said singular, this rule, these rules.
Thank you, Councilor. These rules.
These rules, not rule.
See what happens when you put me up here?
Good catch.
So it's number 6 shall now read, thank you, Counselor, for that friendly language change. These rules shall commence on January 1st, 2011, and shall be reviewed on or before June 30th, 2011 for further consideration. A yea vote will add number 6 as read, a nay vote will not add number 6. Madam City Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yes.
Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. On the amendment of the order in front of us, including line 6, that shall read, "These rules shall commence on January 1st, 2011, and shall be reviewed on or before June 30th, 2011 for further consideration." 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative, the matter passes.
President,
For clarification, I'll let Council Lovely.
move for immediate reconsideration, hopes it does not prevail.
Council Lovely's motion for immediate reconsideration, hope does not prevail. All those in favor, all those opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Mr. President,
Council O'Keefe.
No, yeah.
move for adjournment.
Hold on.
I was almost.
Counselor, see? I
Nice try.
have the gavel.
I know, but you're far enough away that you can't hit me.
Try.
As part of the unfinished business now, the matter that is in front of us is a rules change as amended. We just amended the rules change. It requires a road call vote, and under the rules, a rules change requires a majority, an 8 to...
No.
Two-thirds.
Two-thirds.
Right.
Yeah, a 2/3 majority to pass. Not a simple majority, a majority.
Super majority.
So 2/3, so it requires 8 votes to pass. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll on acceptance of the amended order that's in front of us?
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier? Counselor Pinto?
Yes.
Counselor Prevey?
Yes.
Counselor Ronan?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. On the second reading of an order to amend the rules and orders of the City Council, adding Section 28C as amended, public testimony portion of regular meeting, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries.
Mr. President?
Now,
Go ahead.
Council, I'll defer to Council Lovely. Council Lovely.
Move for immediate reconsideration in hopes it does not prevail.
Council Lovely's recommendation for immediate reconsideration, hope it does not prevail. All those in favor, all those opposed?
opposed.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Move for adjournment.
Councilor O'Keefe's motion for adjournment. All those in favor, all those opposed, we stand adjourned. Thank you.